Welcome back to the second video for today. So we're still going to be doing some stuff with division and exponents. Then we are going to review all of the lessons that we've gone over. And then we're going to have a short online assignment on my.hrw reviewing all of the stuff that we've done. Then tomorrow we're going to review and then we'll have the test coming up. All right, so we're going to first of all correct the worksheet that you guys just did. So it's that 7-4 reteach worksheet. So it's 7-4 reteach. So if you need to go find that worksheet, but we did the 7-4 reteach and it had numbers 1 through 9 on it. So if you need to go find it, just pause the video and then go find it and then come on back. All right, so what did we find out that these properties had to do when we were doing division? We keep the base and we subtract the exponents. So we keep the 5, whoops, that's supposed to be a 5, and then 6 minus 4 is 2, and we know that 5 squared is 25. All right, number 2, it looks like we have some x's and y's, and remember we always have to have the same base. So we're going to take care of these two right here, and so we have x to the 6, we have to keep that. And we're going to go y, and it's 5 minus 3. So we have x to the 6th, and 5 minus 3 is y to the 2nd. Right, number 3, it makes it, we're going to have to do a little bit of a power to a power here first. So I'm just going to recopy this problem, a to the 2nd, b to the 4th. But then in the bottom, see how we have these parentheses and that 3? I have to bring that 3 into everything. So it's a to the 3rd and b to the 3rd. Okay, so now we've got a couple different problems that we have to do here. When we do this right here, those are our a's, and then we do right here, we've got our b's. So we have to do two separate problems. And if we look at this, this is going to be a 2 minus 3, because we subtract our exponents, and b is 4 minus 3. All right, 2 minus 3 gets us -1, and 4 minus 3 gets us a 1. Well, we know we're not allowed to have a -1 exponent, but we can have the b to the first exponent. That's okay. So we are going to leave the b to the 1 on the top, and remember mathematicians say I don't have to write that 1, so I'm going to leave it as b. But that a to the -1, we're going to put that on the bottom because we are not allowed to have that negative exponent. So I'm going to put it on the bottom. So here is your final answer, b over a. All right, number 4, we have to bring that 3 in. So we have to bring it into the top, and you have to also bring it into the bottom. So if you need to, use your calculator, and 2 times 2 times 2, or remember we have that 2 caret 3 button. So we have 2 times 2 times 2 is 8, and 5 times 5 times 5 is 125. So we have 8 over 125. All right, number 5. So we have to pull that exponent in. So we have x, and remember with these exponents, we have 3 times 6. So we have to multiply those exponents. So we get 18. Okay, and you have to also bring that 6 into the bottom so that that is going to be 2 times 6. So we are going to get y to the 12th on the bottom. All right, those are both x's and y's, so they are different. So we are just going to leave them like that. Okay, that's your answer. All right, going on to number 6, we have to bring this 2 in, bring it into everything, the 3, the m, and the n, all 3 of those. So we have 3 to the 2nd, m, and we're going to go 3 times 2, because remember power to power is multiply, and then n, 2 times 2 is 4. So 3 squared is 9, m to the 6th, n to the 4th. And m and n are not like terms, they are not like bases, so we're just going to leave your answer like that. All right, here we go. Bring in the a in. bringing the 3 into the a. So we have a to the third. Okay, and on the bottom, we have to bring the 3 into the b. So what do you do with the 2 and the 3? Do we add them or do we multiply? Because it's a power to power, we are going to multiply those exponents. So we're going to have b to the 6th. And again, you look at your a and your b, and they are different, so that's all we can do. All right, number 8, bring this exponent into everything. So on the top, we've got an x, and we have to bring it into this 3. So we're going to go 3 times 2. We have to bring this 2 into the bottom. So 3 times 2 is 6. So I'm just going to rewrite that for space reasons and just put a 6. But when you look at number 7, we have an a on top, a b on the bottom. They're different, so we're done. But when you look at number 8, we have an x on top and an x on the bottom. So remember, when it's written like this, we have to subtract our exponents. So we have x 6 minus 2. And you still leave that y to the second. So 6 minus 2 is 4. So we're going to have x to the 4th over y to the 2nd. That is going to be your final answer. So you always have to simplify. All right. So inside this parentheses, we can actually simplify first so that we have smaller numbers. 30 divided by 20, I can take both of those and divide by 10 so that I end up with 3 over 2. And I still have this exponent on the outside. Now remember, you have to bring the 2 into the 3 and the 2 into the 2. So it's 3 squared, 2 squared. 3 squared is 9, and 2 squared is 4. So we have 9 over 4. Some of you might write that as a mixed number, and you might write 2 and 1/4. That is totally fine. So if you left it as 9 over 4 or 2 and 1/4, that would be fine. All right, so that is a review of your worksheet that you guys just did. So now we're going to go on and just do a few more review problems. So remember, whenever you do a review, I want you to stop the video. I want you to do these 3 problems on a piece of paper and then start the video so that you can see how you did. So we're reviewing to get ready for your test. All right, 72 to the 0. Well, anything to the 0 power is just 1. Right, in the second one, we have a 3 and an x to the -8. Well, a 3, if you remember, has that exponent of 1. That's positive, so that 3 is just fine right where it's at in the numerator. But this x to the -8, we cannot have a negative exponent, so we have to write x to the 8th power. So we have 3 over x to the 8th power. All right, in the next one, it's multiplying. So if you remember this rule, this is going to be where we add these exponents. So keep your base, and 10 plus 3 is going to give us 13. So remember, keep your base, add your exponents. All right, stop the video, give it a try, see if you can do these before you go on. All right, this looks like a power to a power. So when we have power to a power, remember, we're either going to add, multiply, or subtract exponents. And in this case, we're going to multiply. So we have x, and 8 times 3 is 24. All right, the next one here, make sure you bring that exponent in. So it's 5 to the 2nd, x to the -8th. 5 to the 2nd is 25. And remember, you can't have this negative exponent, so we put x to the 8th in the denominator. All right, we got to bring this in to both things. So we have 16 to the 0, x to the 0. Well, what is anything to the 0? So this is 1 times 1. So this whole final answer is just 1. All right, what do we have here? We have division. So remember, when we have division, we subtract our exponents. So we have 5, 8 minus 6. So we have 5 to the 2nd, and 5 to the 2nd is 5 squared. That is 25. Right, number 2 looks super complicated and crazy and confusing, but we just have to remember we're looking at things that have like bases. So this is a like base of 2, and we're going to do 2 minus 9. Then we have the like bases of 3, and we have 4 minus 5. And nothing matches the 4, so we just have 4 to the 4th. Okay, 2 minus 9 is a negative 7. 4 minus 5 is a negative 1. So remember, we're not allowed to have negative exponents. So I'm going to leave this 4 to the 4th on top because that is a positive exponent. I'm going to leave that. But 2 to the negative 2nd, we cannot have that negative exponent. So I'm going to write 2 to the 7th. And 3 to the negative 1 is just 3. Now really, you could probably just leave it like this, but since you guys have calculators, you should probably just grab your calculator and go 4 caret 4, and you guys get 256 on the top, and the bottom, 2 caret 7 is 128 times 3. Actually, 128 goes into 256. This can simplify so that we end up with 2 over 3. All right, but like I said, you could just leave it like this because really I'm just trying to see if you can do those exponents. All right, moving on to number 3. We have two numbers here, and so we have 15 divided by 5. So you guys know what 15 divided by 5 is. That's 3. And over here, oh, we have x to the 6 on top, x to the 6 on the bottom. That just simplifies to 1. So 3 times 1 is just 3. All right, let's look at this one over here. We've got A's and we've got B's. So those A's are going to be 5 minus 3, and the B is going to be 6 minus 7. So 5 minus 3 is 2, and 6 minus 7 is a negative 1. Now remember, you can't have that negative exponent, so we have A squared over B. This would be your final answer. All right. So the last thing we need to talk about here are when we have order of operations and how we do things. So inside parentheses is always where we want to start. So we have 5 minus, and 6 minus 4 is 2 to the negative 3rd plus. And what is anything to the 0 power? It is 1. So now what do we have here is we're going to take 5 minus, but we need to rewrite this. So we need to rewrite this as 1 over 2 to the 3rd plus 1. So we have 5 minus, and 2 to the 3rd is 8. So we have 5 minus 1/8 plus 1. Well, 5 minus 1/8 is going to get us to 4 and 7/8, and we're going to add 1 to that. So we have 5 and 7/8. So 5 and 7/8 is going to be our final answer. Remember, some of the stuff you can use your calculator for. All right, last problem here before we get to your homework. Always start inside your parentheses. So 6 minus 2 is 4. So we have 4 to the 4th power. On the bottom, we have 8 minus 4 is 4 to the 1st power. But look at that. The bases are the same. It's a 4 and a 4. So remember, if it's division, we take that base of 4 and we take the exponents and subtract them. 4 minus 1. So 4 minus 1 is 3. And now that's just a calculator problem. 4 caret 3. And what do we get for an answer? 4 caret 3, or 4 to the 3rd power, is 64. All right, for your assignment now, you need to go to my.hrw, and there's going to be assignment in there that is lesson 2-1, and it should say day 3. So you should be reviewing all of this stuff because we're getting ready for a test, and tomorrow we will be reviewing. All right, good luck.